the before and after of all the representatives of the Philippines in the history of Miss Universe. In 1952, Teresita Sanchez made history as the very first representative of the Philippines at Miss Universe, at just 19 years old. She didn't place, but she paved the way for all future generations. Today, at 92, she remains remembered as a trailblazer. The following year, Cristina Pacheco, only 18, carried the Philippine sash. She didn't advance, but kept the country's presence alive in the competition. Now 90, her current appearance is unknown. In 1954, Blasilda Ocampo, 18 years old, achieved the unthinkable, becoming the first Filipina to place at Miss Universe, reaching the top 16. Today, at 89, her name remains part of pageant history. At 19, Yvonne de los Reyes continued the Filipino legacy in 1955, though she didn't reach the semifinals. Today, she is 89, though her current image is not publicly known. In 1956, Isabel Rodriguez, then 19, represented the Philippines. She didn't place but kept the country's consistent participation alive. Now 88, her current image is unknown. Marianne Corrales took the stage in 1957 at age 21. She didn't reach the semifinals but was remembered for her elegance. She passed away in 2018 at the age of 82. From 1958 to 1961, the Philippines did not compete in Miss Universe. 4 long years of waiting before returning stronger than ever. In 1962, Josephine Estrada, 19 years old, marked the Philippines' comeback to Miss Universe after a 4-year absence. She didn't place but went on to have a successful acting career. She passed away in 2019 at age 75. Lelaine Bennett made history in 1963. At just 19, she became the first Filipina to reach the top 5, finishing as third runner-up. Her current image is unknown, but she is now 81 years old. In 1964, Myrna Panlilio, age 22, represented the Philippines. She didn't place but proudly carried on the legacy. Sadly, she passed away in 2009 at the age of 66 due to gallbladder disease. At 18 years old, Louise Vale became the first Binibining Pilipinas title holder to place at Miss Universe, reaching the top 15 in 1965. Now 78, little is known about her current life. In 1966, Clorinda Soriano, 20 years old, repeated the success by placing in the top 15. She was admired for her elegant bearing. Today, at 79, her current image remains unknown. At only 16 years old, Pilar Pilapil represented the Philippines in 1967. She didn't place but became a well-known actress and remains a beloved public figure. Today, at 75, she's still fondly remembered. Rosario Zaragoza, 18, competed in 1968 but didn't enter the top 15. Still, she was part of a strong generation of Filipina contestants during the 1960s. Now, 75, her current appearance is unknown. In 1969, Gloria Diaz, just 18 years old, made history by becoming the first Miss Universe from the Philippines. Her victory was celebrated worldwide and even reported to Apollo 11 astronauts on their space mission. Today, at 74, she remains one of the most iconic and beloved beauty queens of all time. And this is how she looks today. In 1970, Simonette de los Reyes, 19 years old, represented the Philippines. She didn't place but proudly carried the country's name after the historic win of Gloria Diaz. Today, at 74, she still carries that same grace that defined her. In 1971, Vida Doria, age 20, represented the Philippines. Although she didn't reach the semifinals, she stood out by winning the Miss Photogenic Award. Now, about 74, this is how she looks today. Army Crespo, only 18, competed in 1972 and advanced to the top 12 semifinalists. Now 71, she remains part of the golden generation, although no recent photos are publicly available. In 1973, Margarita Moran, just 19 years old, became the second Filipina to win Miss Universe. Her elegance, intelligence, and stage presence took her to the crown in Athens, where she also won Miss Photogenic. Today, at 72, she remains admired for her timeless beauty. In 1974, Guadalupe Sanchez, 18, represented the Philippines during the special edition held in Manila. She reached the top 12 semifinalists. Now 69, this is how she looks today. In 1975, Rose Marie Brosas, only 18, proudly carried the Philippine sash and achieved a fourth runner-up finish. Now 68, this is her current appearance. At 20, Lisbeth de Padua competed in 1976 but did not place. After Miss Universe, she pursued a successful career in science. Today, at 69, this is how she looks. In 1977, Anna Lorraine Kier, then 17, represented the Philippines. Although she didn't advance to the semifinals, her youthful charm made her memorable back home. Now 65, this is how she looks today. Jennifer Cortez, 17 years old, represented the Philippines in 1978. She didn't place, but her refined poise and sincere smile earned her recognition nationwide. At 64, this is her current appearance. In 1979, Criselda Cecilio, 18, traveled to Perth, Australia. Though she didn't make the top 12, her charm was noted. Today, at 64, this is how she looks. In 1980, Maha Rosario Chat. Silayan carried the Philippine sash and delivered a brilliant performance, finishing third runner-up in the pageant held in South Korea. Her classic beauty and stage charisma defined the decade. Sadly, she passed away in 2006 at the age of 46. A year later, in 1981, Maria Caroline Mendoza, 18 years old, represented the Philippines in New York. although she did not place. Today at 62, her current appearance is unknown. The following year in 1982, Maria Isabel Lopez, 22 years old, represented the Philippines in Peru, although she did not place. After the pageant, she began a successful acting career and remains an active public figure. Today, at 67, this is how she looks. In 1983, the Philippine sash was worn by Rosita Capian, who at 20 competed in St. Louis, Missouri. She did not advance to the top 12, but was recognized for her refined bearing and natural charm. She is currently 62 years old, though her recent image is little known. In 1984, Desiree Verdadero, 21 years old, achieved an impressive third runner-up, reaffirming the power of the Philippines in the pageant. Today, at 62, she maintains a radiant appearance and a peaceful life with her family. In 1985, Joyce Ann Burton, 18 years old, represented the Philippines in Miami. She did not place, but her serene beauty led her to a fruitful career as an actress and host. Today, at 58, this is how she looks. Date of birth, 1967. The turn of 1986 was for Violeta Nalus, who was 17 years old when she competed in Panama. She did not advance. She is currently 56 years old, and this is how she looks. In 1987, Geraldine Pebbles Aces, at 23 years old, represented the Philippines and reached the top 10 semifinalists, confirming the country's consistency. Today, at 61, this is how she looks. The year 1988 brought Perfida Limpin, a contestant with great stage presence. She was 23 when she competed in Taiwan, and although she did not place. Today, at 60, she remains out of the public eye, but this is how she looks. In 1989, Sarah Jane Paez was the Philippine candidate in Cancun. At 21 years old, she did not place. Today, at 57, this is how she looks. Serene, natural, and deeply connected to her faith. Starting the 90s, Germelina Padilla represented the Philippines in Los Angeles at 21 years old. Although she did not place, today at 56, this is her current appearance. In 1991, Maria Lourdes Gonzalez represented the Philippines in Las Vegas, but did not place. Today, her current appearance is unknown. The year 1992 brought Elizabeth Baroya. She was 18 years old when she competed in Thailand, although she did not place. Today, at 51, this is how she looks. The following year, in 1993, the Philippines sent Melinda Joanna Gallardo. She was 22 years old when she competed in Mexico, although she did not place. However, her elegance later led her into film and acting. Today, at 54, this is how she looks. In 1994, Charlene Gonzalez, only 20 years old, dazzled at Miss Universe held in Pasay and reached the top 6 finalists. She also won Best National Costume. Today, at 51, she maintains her natural beauty and a solid television career. A year later, in 1995, Joanne Santos represented the Philippines in Namibia. She was 18 years old but did not place. Today, at 49, she leads a discreet life away from the spotlight. In 1996, Aileen DeMiles, 20 years old, competed in Las Vegas, although she did not place but won the Miss Photogenic Award. She is currently 49 years old and is dedicated to business life, maintaining an elegant and refined appearance. The year 1997 belonged to Abigail Arenas, 22 years old, who did not place but earned recognition as Miss Photogenic. Today, at 51, she remains active in the world of modeling and personal development. In 1998, Jewel Lobaton, 21 years old, was sent to represent the Philippines in Hawaii but did not place. Today, at 48, this is how she looks. And closing the decade and the millennium, Miriam Quiyambao made history. At 23 years old, she achieved the first runner-up position, giving the Philippines one of its most iconic performances in Miss Universe. She also won the Clairol Herbal Essences Style Award. Today, at 50, she remains one of the most inspiring queens of the Philippines, and this is her appearance. Starting the new millennium in the year 2000, Nina Ricci Alagao, 22 years old, represented the Philippines in Cyprus. She did not place among the semi-finalists. Today, at 48, this is how she looks. Elegant and with a very modern bearing. In 2001, Zoraida Ruth Undum, a 24-year-old lawyer, carried the Philippine sash to Puerto Rico, although she did not place among the semi-finalists. Today, at 49, this is how she looks. A year later, Karen Loren Agustin, 19 years old, represented the Philippines in Puerto Rico. She did not advance to the top 10. She is currently 43 years old and is still remembered for her smile and classic elegance. When Carla Ballinget took the sash in 2003, she was only 19 years old and represented the Philippines in Panama. Although she did not place, her morena beauty and simplicity left a mark in that edition. Today, at 42, she maintains a natural style and leads a peaceful life away from show business. After that chapter came Maricar Balagtas at 21 years old, with the hope of bringing the Philippines back to the top 15 in Ecuador, although she did not succeed. Today, she is 42 years old, and this is how she looks. The following year, Giona Cabrera arrived in Thailand at 22 years old. She did not enter the semifinals but won the Miss Photogenic Award. She is currently 43 years old, and this is her appearance. The year 2006 brought Leah Ramos, 25 years old, who represented the Philippines in Los Angeles. She did not place but also received the Miss Photogenic Award. Today, at 44, this is how she looks at this point. Then, in 2007, Ana Teresa Licaros, 22 years old, traveled to Mexico with an outstanding academic profile, a graduate with honors in economics. Although she did not place, she won the Miss Photogenic Award. Today, at 41, this is how she looks. The following year, in 2008, Jennifer Barrientos, 22 years old, was the first representative under the pageant's new administration. Competent and prepared, she did not place. She is currently 39 years old and maintains a discreet image, and this is how she looks. And after that, in 2009, Bianca Manalo, 21 years old, represented the Philippines in the Bahamas. Although she did not reach the semifinals, after her participation, she became an actress. Today, at 39, this is her current appearance. And then, in 2010, Venus Raj changed history. At only 22 years old, she broke the 10-year streak of non-placements for the Philippines, achieving the position of 4th runner-up at Miss Universe 2010. Today, at 37, this is how she looks. In 2011, Shamsi Soupsup, 25 years old, brought back the sparkle to the Philippines' name by finishing 3rd runner-up at Miss Universe held in Brazil. Today, at 39, this is how she looks. A year later, Janine Tuganon, 23 years old, was just one step away from the crown. She became 1st runner-up at Miss Universe 2012 in Las Vegas. Today, at 36, she lives in the United States, where she combines her modeling career with personal projects. In 2013, Ariella Arita, 24 years old, kept the streak alive by reaching the top 5 in Moscow, placing as 3rd runner-up, and also winning the Ice Princess Glam Shot award. Today, at 37, she maintains her elegance and works as a host and actress. The streak continued with Mary Jean Lastimosa, 27 years old in 2014. Although she did not reach the top 5, she placed in the top 10 semi-finalists, keeping the Philippines' consistency. Today, at 38, this is how she looks. And in 2015, Pia Wurtzbach, 26 years old, made history by being crowned Miss Universe 2015 in one of the most controversial finales of all time due to the host's mistake of announcing Miss Colombia as the winner. Her victory brought the crown back to the Philippines after more than 4 decades. Today, at 36, she remains a global icon of elegance, resilience, and success. In 2016, Maxine Medina, 26 years old, had the challenging task of competing at home when the Philippines hosted the pageant. She advanced to the top 6 semi-finalists. Today, at 35, she remains active in modeling and television. A year later, in 2017, Rachel Peters, 26 years old, continued the streak by placing in the top 10 at Miss Universe in Las Vegas. Today, at 34, this is how she looks. In 2018, Katrina Gray, 24 years old, dominated with one of the most memorable performances in the history of the competition and was crowned Miss Universe 2018. Her lava walk and confidence became legendary. Today, at 31, this is how she looks. And in 2019, Gazini Ganados, 23 years old, represented the Philippines in Atlanta, where she placed in the top 20 and also won Best National Costume. Today, at 30, this is how she looks at this point. Starting 2020, Rabia Mateo, 24 years old, carried the Philippine sash to Florida, where she placed in the top 21. Today, at 29, this is how she looks at this point. In 2021, Beatrice Luigi Gomez, 26 years old. Her strength, discipline, and elegance took her to the top 5 of Miss Universe, held in Israel. Today, at 30, this is how she appears. A year later, in 2022, Celeste Cortese, 25 years old, represented the Philippines. Although she surprisingly did not place, her beauty was one of the most talked about of the edition. For this reason, she won the Tokuyo Awards 2022. Today, at 28, this is how she looks. In 2023, Michelle D., 28 years old, brought the Philippines back to the top 10 of Miss Universe, held in El Salvador. Daughter of former Miss International Melanie Marquez, she also won the awards for Best National Costume, Popular Vote, Carnival Spirit, and was a gold winner for Voice for Change. Today, at 30, this is how she looks. In 2024, Chelsea Manalo, 25 years old, placed in the top 30 of Miss Universe held in Mexico. She was also named Miss Universe Asia and won Best National Costume. Today, at 26, this is her appearance. And finally, in 2025, Atisa Manalo, 28 years old, who at the time of this video's production is still competing in Thailand. Which have been the most beautiful Miss Philippines in all of history? I'll read you in the comments.